Why is it spicy?
The newest collaboration between Disney and American Girl is out now, and I want to talk about it. Ever since the release of the limited edition dolls, there have been so many requests from fans of Disney and fans of American Girl, and it looks like we actually finally got some things that we've been requesting. So this is a really exciting release today, and I want to go ahead and just dive in. So without further ado, let's talk about dolls. Before we get started, don't forget to check out my Patreon, where you can support this channel for only $3 a month and you get a ton of extra content, including a bonus podcast about American Girl every single week. I sit down for an hour and talk about American Girl news, drama, gossip, and open all the mail that I got every single week. So be sure to check it out because, again, it's a really great way to help support this channel so I can keep making doll videos. All right, let's talk about the Disney dolls. So I have American Girl's website pulled up right in front of me, so I'm going to be referencing the screen and we're going to just be walking through all of this together because it's kind of a lot, and I'm really excited that we're getting a big collection about this because even though I don't collect Disney stuff, I know how much attention that this is going to bring to the American Girl brand, which I think is great for all of us. So I'm very excited to kind of tear into this and talk about some of the movies that I remember from my childhood, and then one of them that I really didn't know much about. So first off, I think we'll start off with Ariel, the Little Mermaid, because that is the one that I'm the most familiar with. I remember when it was a new movie when I was a child, and I really, really loved it. It had a great soundtrack and a really wonderful story. So this is probably the one that's closest to my heart in all of these. And I think if I were to pick one of these three new dolls, it would probably be Ariel for that reason, just because of the nostalgic value. So first up, we have the doll, which is extremely beautiful. I mean, who doesn't love the Nenea face sculpt? So it's an interesting choice for Ariel. I personally feel like the Corinne sculpt would have been a little bit better of a choice, just because when I think of Ariel, I think of those really like big blue eyes. I think her eyes are blue anyway, but it does look like we've got a special color for her. They're sort of like almost a turquoise color, which is really, really cool. And, you know, I think, again, Corinne might have been a little bit better of a choice because she has larger eyes than the other American Girl dolls. So if I could have had my way, that's probably the sculpt I would have chosen. But this version of Ariel is super beautiful. I think she's going to be popular. You know, she has that iconic signature red hair that we always associate with the classic version of Ariel from the Disney movies. And you know, I think that's kind of where it begins and ends with the accuracy as far as the character goes. And again, this isn't to roast this doll completely because I really like it and I think it's beautiful. But naturally, I think they had to take some creative liberties with Ariel. Now, I think, you know, the most obvious thing, as we don't have a clamshell bra, we kind of have an interpretation of sort of like, you know, a blue or a purple top. So I'm not exactly sure why they went with such a stylized version of Ariel, but I think it's probably, if I had to guess, that they didn't want to expose too much of the torso just because of material issues. I mean, as most of you know, American Girls have a cloth torso but vinyl limbs, and it's always kind of awkward at the seams where the head and limbs attach to the torso. So I imagine it's very tricky for designers at American Girl to pick outfits that look really good on these dolls because it's just really difficult to have like low sweeping necklines and exposed midriffs. And I know they've done these things in the past, but I think that's probably a big part of the reason they chose not to do this. And, you know, maybe truthfully, they chose not to do a clamshell bra because they thought it might be inappropriate for a doll that's meant to be like a 9-year-old. And that's kind of what I say all the time about dolls like this, is that, you know, you kind of have to remember that American Girl dolls typically are roughly around the age of 9. And so that kind of brings a whole new set of restrictions that might apply to doing dolls. I think we saw it with the Barbie release as well. They took some creative liberties with the swimsuit. And, you know, I think that's probably what we're seeing here. And, you know, I feel like we've seen a million Disney Ariel dolls that have clamshell bras that are like, that look even younger than this doll. So if I had to guess, I would say it was probably American Girl that sort of pushed for this more stylized version of Ariel. Again, it looks super cute, but to my eye, it still almost looks like a little bit of a bootleg version of Ariel just because we don't have that iconic clamshell top. And again, I know that it's really, really difficult to have a doll that can stand and be played with vertically but have a mermaid tail as well. And again, I think they've done a really good job with basically giving the implication of a mermaid tail, but it's still you know, it's still a skirt, right? Like you can stand this doll up and display it, and children can play with it. And that's probably one of the big points I want to make about this doll release too, is I think that they've done an excellent job with the price point. $125 is really very good for a collaboration doll because, you know, American Girl has to pay for the Disney license. It's not just free to make these things. And so to only charge an extra $10 for these dolls, and they have really nice outfits. I mean, especially when you compare these three dolls, which we'll get to the rest of them in a minute, obviously, but all three of these dolls have a ton of really great details on them. And so when you compare that to like a Truly Me doll, they're only $10 more, and you just get so much more with these dolls. So I feel like for $125, capitalism deserves a big round of applause today, because I swear they could have gotten away with charging $150 for these and probably not seen much of a dip in sales. So yeah, $125 as far as American Girl is concerned is a really great price. Again, for $10, you get a Disney license and a ton of extra outfit pieces with these dolls. So that's really, really great, right? And I don't believe that these are going to be limited edition, and I think that really helps as well. So they can make tens of thousands of these dolls without having to worry about the profit margin as much, you know, because if they're selling like 4,000 of them, you know, they have to really worry about, is this all going to be worth it if we can only sell 4,000? But if they can sell tens of thousands of these, that allows them to get the price point lower. And so I think this is really, really great. I think now young children, or more young children anyway, are going to have the opportunity to play with these dolls. And so yeah, I just think that's really great all around, that these dolls are $125. I feel like the limited edition ones were somewhere around $300, which is so much, right? And it was just a few crystals, I guess, that were added to these in a nice box. So yeah, all in all, I think it's like fantastic that we're getting dolls for $125 that include a Disney license. So yeah, back to Ariel. I think this is a super pretty doll. Like I said, I love the Nenea face sculpt. I will say the eyebrows on this doll, and I think the other two, I'm not the biggest fan of. I think that they could have done something a little more natural looking, just as far as like a little bit more of a flow in the eyebrow hairs and some crossover, much like we saw with like Corinne Tan and some of the other more complex eyebrows. These look a little bit lined out, and same with the painted on eyelashes. I feel like, again, we have so many extra lines on these dolls' faces. I will say it every time. Those painted lashes look like crow's feet to me. I really think they need to do something more like they did with Corinne and just do a solid, like, is it a cat eye, a wing, whatever it's called, the thing that Taylor Swift does all the time, the just like one solid piece above the eye, I think would be great if we wanted to try and extend the eyelashes. But this is too many individual lines in my personal opinion for a doll. I just think it's very chopped up looking, and it sort of looks like somebody just took a pencil and added them after the fact. I do think we need a little bit more care in some of the screening on the eyes and eyebrows on these dolls and some of the other ones they make, even though from a distance and as far as a child is concerned, I think they still look great. It's just, I really feel like we need some more attention paid to these eyelashes. They're just not looking right to me. But again, overall, the doll looks really great. I love her hair. I think that they got a really beautiful shade of red, and it's very different for an American Girl doll. So I can definitely see people purchasing this doll and making customs with her. You know, I think she's a really great base for making some interesting customs. So yeah, all in all, I think they've done a really great job with Ariel, right down to her lip color. I think her lip color looks great. And again, I think this will be a really fun doll to kind of redress as well. Again, I'm so far removed from all of these Disney movies, it's going to be a little bit difficult for me to like really go in on the accuracy of these. And you know, at the end of the day, I think we're going to see a little bit of creative license with these things for one reason or another. Like, again, these shoes that come with the Ariel doll, I don't know if we saw those in the movie or not. I do think the little seashells on them for buckles is really cute. But yeah, as far as accuracy goes for Ariel, I think this is probably going to be the least accurate to the animation in the movie, but all in all, still really great. I also really love the box design for these as well. I think they've done a good job at keeping it really simple and without like doing a million different graphics on them. I think all in all, they look great. I love the gradient like ombre effect on the front as well. I think that kind of gives it a little bit of dimension without having to add like 1,000 graphics. I will say though, like I personally don't need to see the original illustration of Ariel, and I certainly don't need to see a picture of the doll on the box. You know, if you're buying this doll in store, they have a million of these on display, so it's not really an issue of seeing what the doll actually looks like. To me, I think it would look a little higher end to not have all those extra graphics on there and do something a lot more minimalistic. But, you know, again, this is really marketed towards children, so it's not as big of a deal to me to have like really high-end graphic design on this. But again, I do think the box is a little bit busy, but certainly not as busy as some have been in the past. So, you know, again, I think it looks really good. Also, I really love the shell necklace that comes with her. It looks like it's made out of metal. I'm not totally sure. I just looked, it's actually metal, so that's great. Again, another element of quality on this. I'm not sure why the Truly Me dolls are $115 and this is only $125. I think maybe American Girl maybe should try and get those Truly Me dolls down to $99 if they can. Again, I think the quality on these seems to be really, really great for the price point. So in addition to dolls, we actually get extra outfits and accessories as well, which is super exciting. So each doll is gonna have her, I guess we'll call it a meat outfit. It's just the original outfit from the iconic character. And then you can buy separately 2 different outfits if you want. So again, really great. That was another thing a lot of people were requesting this entire time, that they could just buy outfits to put on like a Truly Me doll or something for cosplay. So really, really great that we have these. The price point is $55, which is a little on the high side, but considering that they come with extra details and it's got the Disney license, it could have been a lot worse, right? I feel like the Wicked outfits were so much more expensive than this. And so, yeah, again, I have to say I'm really happy with the price points on everything we're seeing today. So first is Ariel's day dress, and this is one I remember from the movies. I think this is one of the more iconic outfits from The Little Mermaid, and again, I think this looks really great. All of the details on here, we have embroidery, we have different mixes of materials. It looks like it's high quality. And it also comes with a really cute miniature little flounder plush. So yeah, I think this is so cute. If I had to guess, this is probably going to be the more popular of the outfits, especially because I know a lot of people probably have custom like homemade versions of the Halle Bailey version of Ariel. So it's really great if you already have an Ariel doll in your collection that you can buy an outfit like this and kind of pair it with that doll as well. So I think that's really cool too. But yeah, I really love this one. And I love that it comes with that really big bow. For some reason, I really can kind of easily recall that big bow that Ariel had on the back of her head with this outfit. And again, I just think those little extra details really add a lot of value to these. So yeah, this is a great outfit. And the second additional outfit that we have for Ariel is the Castle Ball Gown, which admittedly, I don't really remember this from the movie. Now, full disclosure, I haven't seen The Little Mermaid since probably the early 90s, so it's been a minute. So I don't really remember this outfit. I mean, it's kind of ringing a bell, but this one's not a really strong memory for me. It seems to be made really well, and even though I don't like sort of this satiny polyester kind of material it's made with, I think kids are gonna love it. It's shiny, and it's probably really easy to slide on and off the doll, because I can just picture this material being super slippery. So it does look a tiny bit on the cheap side, but again, considering there's a Disney license involved and we have an additional character that comes with it. We have Sebastian the crab, who is so cute. I mean, he's such an iconic character from the movie, right? It's really, really great that we have these extra characters from the movie that kind of help drive home the story. Again, I mean, who can forget Sebastian, right? I do kind of love these shoes. I am like absolutely obsessed with American Girl making all of these shoes with like little kitten heels on them. It's so dumb looking, but it is so cute. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Something like looks really stupid, but it's endearing. Like, that's how I describe all of these kitten heels I see. It is so adorable. So I'm glad we're continuing to see more and more dolls with like little heels on them. I think it's so adorable. And one final detail that I actually really do love about this outfit is the little crystal barrette that comes with it. Again, another small detail, but I really feel like it helps drive home the point that this is a quality outfit with extra accessories. So yeah, I feel like the shoes and the barrette that comes with this adds a little bit of extra value just because you can use them with other outfits. It's always been interesting to me that American Girl will do like bundled sets. So all of these dolls you can kind of go in and buy basically their entire collection all at once, but they don't give you a discount, I don't think. I think the only time they ever give you a discount is if you buy the meat accessories with like a and historical doll. But other than that, they're like, yeah, buy this whole collection, but we're not even gonna like throw you a bone and give you $5 off it. I think that's super weird. All right, next up is the only other doll from this collection that I remember from my childhood, which is Cinderella. Again, another really great doll. I am still shocked that this doll is only $125 based on what you get with it, but you know, Cinderella is another one of those iconic Disney characters that people were begging for when American Girl started doing Disney collaborations. So I'm really glad that we're seeing this because I feel like people were going to be begging for this had they not released it. So this is really great. I feel like American Girl is listening to what people want. It looks like they've gone with a Josefina face sculpt for this doll, which is not surprising at all because I feel like every release has Josefina in it. And I feel like I should be complaining because they use it so much, but I feel like Josefina at this point has basically become their staple face sculpt that they use. We see it far more than any other. I basically feel like it's taken the place of classic mold at this point, but I have to say it's a really diverse face sculpt. It can be used for any different skin tone, and it's just, you know, it's my personal favorite in their line right now, I think. So yeah, I can't complain that they're using Josefina. It really is a beautiful doll. So yeah, we have a Josefina Cinderella. Again, same criticism on the face paint as with Ariel. It's too many separate lines. Again, it just looks a little bit forced. Yeah, all the hairs are just too disjointed. So again, for this doll, not my favorite. But again, overall, the doll looks really great. She looks beautiful. I love her lip color, that really pinky, it's almost a bubblegum pink, but it's a really pinky pink that I just think looks so great on this skin tone. I love it. With Cinderella, we get pierced ears and studded like crystal earrings. What is happening here? I am only guessing that they think that they're going to sell tens upon tens of thousands of these dolls because I am so confused. Like if you buy a Truly Me doll with a t-shirt dress for $115, it costs $18 just to get the doll's ears pierced. So it's so wild to me that just like we have a doll with more details than a Truly Me doll, and then in addition she not only has her ears pierced, but they have earrings in them. So this is such a great value. I feel like if you want a truly like a blonde Truly Me doll with pierced ears, just buy Cinderella. Like it makes no sense to buy a Truly Me doll at this point. But again, I do think this is a really beautiful doll. I love her hair. I am always so impressed when American Girl is able to take an iconic hairstyle and have it done in their Kanekalon wigs, because you know, they're bigger than fashion dolls. So we're talking 18-inch dolls, and it takes a lot of handwork to style these things in the factory. A person has to grab all of this doll's hair, wrangle it, and set it. And to my knowledge, I don't think they put gel in their hair either. So this, again, I think is really a feat of modern toy design to be able to have hair that is this laid. Honestly, their hair is so laid, right? Like I can't get over how good these hairstyles are. And again, considering we're talking $125 for a doll, this is going to be done tens of thousands of times. And I just cannot get over how good the hair is on these dolls. It really is impeccable. I don't know how they're doing it. So yeah, I have to say, again, I am really, really impressed with the quality overall of this. I will not stop talking about the price of these dolls. $125 is insane. Again, we have sort of that classic blue dress, and I want to say I heard somewhere that the original version of Cinderella was this dress white? I can't remember, or was it silver maybe? I don't know. I feel like over time, I mean, you Disney people are gonna, that sounded terrible. You Disney people that are really into Disney are probably going to be watching this. And so if you know anything about Cinderella's dress, let me know in the comments if this was originally a silver dress. I want to say this dress was originally silver, and over time they kind of adapted it to be more blue, I guess, in the attempt to make it more iconic and memorable. I don't know. It's really neither here nor there for me. I can still obviously get Cinderella out of all of this. So I don't know. I still kind of want to say that this dress is a lot more blue than it was in the original movie. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I just had to take a look because it was going to bug me. I think the original dress was silver, right? And truthfully, I think that would be even more pretty than the blue. Although this is a gorgeous shade of blue, and it looks really good with her eyes, which I think are the standard blue. I mean, if we're all honest, Kirsten is probably coming back this year, and this is probably the exact part that they're using for Kirsten's eyes. So I'm not going to complain about the color of the dress. It's really pretty, but I wonder what a silver dress would have looked like. One detail that I love that they included is that original black choker that was part of the outfit from the original movie, as far as I can tell. It's such a strange detail, and I feel like for a lot of doll designers, they might have said, maybe we can make this a navy blue or try and like make that black blend in with the outfit a little more. But I love that they just went ahead and went with the black from the original movie. I think it's a very interesting like pop of detail in this. And truthfully, it might be fun to put on another doll. If you have like a 90s doll that you're trying to like put a custom outfit on, this would be a good little piece for like one of those iconic black 90s chokers. But yeah, again, I think this doll is going to be super popular. She's really pretty. And again, I cannot get over that hairstyle. I do not know how they're doing that in the factory. Also, I do think this is a blonde that we've never seen before for American Girl. For some reason, I want to call this color buttered popcorn. I mean, look, doesn't that look like it would smell like buttered popcorn? But yeah, it's like a bunch of different like yellows in her wig. And again, I think they've done a great job trying to represent the original Cinderella. It's a beautiful wig color, and I don't think we've seen it before. Ugh, now I want buttered popcorn. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning. All right, so Cinderella's first additional outfit that we get is her day dress. And I think of this as like her scullery maid outfit. So this is the part of the movie, right, where she's like scrubbing floors and her like wicked stepsisters are such and like this is where you start really feeling bad for her. And like, haven't we all been this woman at some point? So yeah, again, another really iconic look from the movie. And I have to say, this is probably my favorite look of all of them. I don't know, maybe I'm having like a Y2K moment, but this like turquoise with the brown looks so good. But like, how Y2K is that, right? But I don't know, I just love the colors of all of this. And again, maybe it's how I feel about my life at this point in time. I'm like, I so identify with this right now. But this is a really cute outfit. If I were to get any one of them, like I would say this is probably my favorite additional outfit. You know who this would look really good on? I feel like this would look so good on Kirsten. It almost kind of has a Swedish vibe to it. So I don't know, maybe I'll end up getting this for my Kirsten doll. I think it would look so cute on her. But yeah, again, another really great iconic look from the movie. I feel like we have a ton of extra pieces. I don't remember the names of the mice in these movies, but again, I'm just really glad we have those extra little details. So it just adds more play value to this because again, I feel like it's mostly going to be kids that get these, even though I know there's going to be thousands of adults that are buying these as well. But this just really is great for display too, right? But I think the kids are really gonna love having these extra little miniature figures to kind of, you know, act out stories from the movie and stuff. I think this is really, really great. One little nitpick, I do wish the apron was maybe made out of more of a cotton material instead of satin, but again, it's just a material nitpick. This is totally fine. I just think something that was a little more matte might have looked a little bit more expensive, but all in all, again, this outfit I think looks really great. And again, we have another really great pair of shoes that I feel like could be used for a million different outfits. Like I could see Kit Kittredge wearing these. So yeah, I love when you can buy an outfit and then you can take just little parts away from it and make them staples in your collection. Again, a lot of added value. All right, and again, for the third outfit, it's one I don't really remember. So this is they just call this ball gown. So presumably this is at the end of the movie where everything is like all fine and great and she's like met her prince or whatever. I see oh, actually this is kind of ringing a bell now because it's coming with scissors and a measuring tape. Y'all, I feel like such an idiot right now because I cannot remember Cinderella, but why do I want to say like the Woodland Critters like made her outfit for her or fixed like it's ringing a bell, but I can't remember. But obviously like the dressmaking is like a whole like theme with this outfit. Oh my gosh, okay, I had to look it up. It is all coming back to me now. Celine Dion. This is such an iconic scene from the movie. Now that I'm looking this up, I really need to watch these again because these movies really are great movies. So yeah, this is when all her like little woodland critter friends make the dress for her. And this is bringing back so many memories, y'all. This is like such a trip. So yeah, I am so glad they added this to the collection because now that I'm looking at it, this was such an important part of the movie. And I think, again, this is really, really great. And it looks like they've done a pretty good job honoring the original, although I will say it does look like it's missing some details, and maybe that's why I didn't remember it to look at this dress. And again, it's just a lot of satin. It's so shiny. I wish there could have been maybe a slightly nicer material used, but again, as I've been going on and on about like the price point of this, I also recognize that we can't have like the most insane like Project Runway ball gown ever because then it would cost like $75 like the Wicked ones. So again, for $55, this still is really good quality. One interesting little detail before we move on to the next one, this was brought up in our Discord community and I also agree with this. So the stock image for this outfit shows Cinderella with her hair down and she has like a full head of curly hair. And I guarantee you, if you take this doll out of her hairstyle, if you pull whatever pin or rubber band is like holding that updo up, if you take that out and her hair comes down, she's gonna have wavy hair. She's not gonna have like ringlet curls like this. So I think that is an interesting choice on American Girl's behalf to like show this kind of hairstyle on this doll, because I don't even think you can take a doll to the hair salon and take like Cinderella as she is when you'll buy her. I don't think the hair salon can do this hairstyle with her even. So yeah, a little bit of an interesting choice. Like that's going to take a lot of time and a lot of heat to get the doll's hair to look like that. But, you know, maybe it's a fine detail that, you know, parents and young kids won't really pay attention to. But yeah, interesting choice on the product photo. Because yeah, there ain't no way in hell that doll's hair is going to look like that when you take down her updo. Updo. All right, y'all. We have Tiana. So when I did my video last year talking about the limited edition Disney dolls, one of the most common comments that I got in my comment section was everybody going, "Where is Tiana? Where is Tiana?" She was by far the most requested doll in my comment section. So I know that all over the internet in the American Girl world, people were demanding this doll. And I'm so glad American Girl listened, because I just know that there are so many people that are losing their minds right now as we speak, that not only that we got Tiana, but they made her with Claudie, which is so insane, right? I did not see this coming, and I am really excited. And it's so funny because I didn't know anything about this movie because you know, spoiler alert, I was born in 1984. So in 2009, I wasn't paying attention to Disney. So I didn't know, like, I haven't seen The Princess and the Frog, and I don't know much about it other than people have said it's like a really great story and it's really, really beloved. So my knowledge on Tiana is very, very limited, but just to look at her, obviously I'm stoked to see that we are finally breaking the seal on Claudie becoming more of a common sculpt for American Girl to use. And so if I had to guess, I think amongst adult collectors at least, this is probably going to be the most popular of them all, considering it's Claudie and it's Tiana that has been requested time and time again. So I think this is really great that we got this doll. Again, it makes me feel like American Girl really is sort of digging through comment sections, potentially on Reddit and other places, Facebook. I do think there might be moles out there at American Girl that are listening to what people are saying online and responding to like the high demand for things like this. So I think that's wonderful. So yeah, again, like I said, I'm thrilled that we're seeing Claudie make another appearance. This doll is stunningly gorgeous. I have the same notes about the screening on the face as far as the eyebrows and eyelashes go. We need a little bit more attention to that. Again, I've gone on about it already enough. It is interesting that they went with the amber eyes. And again, I guess it's probably because it's probably the closest thing to Tiana's actual illustration. Let me look really quick. Yeah, so in the illustrations I'm looking at for the Princess and the Frog, it looks like she has very light brown eyes. So that makes sense why they went with that eye color. Again, a really beautiful doll and a very complicated hairstyle. Again, I am so dumbfounded as to how they're making this happen at scale, but however they're making it happen, you know, congratulations, American Girl. This really is like a really stunning doll. I can't get over all the extra details. This is a very detailed outfit with tons of layers. Again, we have a metal necklace with, I'm assuming these are plastic crystals, but again, a lot of really fine detail in this outfit. Down to this tiara that's got all these extra petals and glitter and a headband and this like applique flower with the vines and stuff coming down. Again, just I'm just astonished at the level of detail on a $125 doll. Again, with the kitten heels, so cute. I absolutely love it. Again, because I haven't seen this movie, I can't really comment a lot about how accurate this is to the story and all of that, but I can tell you it's a beautiful doll, and the friends that I have like in the doll community that collect this stuff are really, really excited about this doll. So I am excited for everybody as well, because again, I just love when American Girl is able to do something that delights and surprises us, and I think that this is one of those instances. All right, and so for additional outfits for Tiana, we have her work dress and accessories, which this is so beautiful. Like again, like I said a million times, I don't know much about this story, but I do know a lot about doll clothes, and for $55, this is an amazing value. And, you know, I feel like it's not every day that we see American Girl use really fine quality fabrics. And even in this release, you know, I've complained a little bit about too much satin because it just feels kind of cheap to me in a lot of instances. But this like slubby knit jacket is so amazing. Like this whole outfit is, I'm kind of surprised. Like I really feel like they put money and care into this, and even down to the accessories. Like this is truly amazing. One thing that's great about this, how we were talking earlier that, you can, it's great that we have these extra outfits so that if you have a Truly Me doll, you can kind of cosplay with some of these Disney looks. And I think this is a great example of that. Like if you already have Claudie, I will say she looks very, very similar to Tiana just based on using the same mold. Similarly, like kind of lightish brown eyes, a curly wig. So you really could probably, if you already have Claudie, purchase this work dress and accessory set and get a look pretty similar to the Tiana. Like basically you could have your own Tiana doll if you already have Claudie, which I think is really great for people that are trying to not have 100 bazillion dolls in their collection. So, I feel like if you have Claudie, this would be a great look for her collection. Even though I'm not great at historical accuracy in terms of fashion, this looks like it vibes with Claudie, right? Like I could totally see buying this for Claudie's collection as well, between like the yellow and the florals and this really, again, beautifully, beautifully made jacket and hat. I am kind of stunned, honestly, that we're seeing fabrics this nice. I hope that this is a sign of what's to come with American Girl. This is the kind of thing where I feel like all is not lost in terms of quality. Like we can get quality things without having to spend limited edition collector prices. So even though I don't know a lot about this outfit, it still excites me to no end because this like is probably one of the highest quality things that they've released in this collection today. So it is very, very exciting. I just might have to buy this for my Claudie doll. I can't say enough good about it. It is so cool. And the final look we have for Tiana is the evening star dress and accessories. So again, I don't know enough about the movie to make a comment on like accuracy and stuff, but it's a gorgeous dress. Again, I think it's too much satin, but maybe that's just kind of what we're expecting as far as like princess dresses for dolls. And again, I'm certainly not requesting that we add crystals and all of this stuff to it to try and make it look more expensive, because we all know what happens when a single Swarovski crystal falls on an American Girl doll dress. So yeah, it looks like we have a tiara and a necklace. We don't have any extra characters with Tiana's looks, so again, probably something to do with the movie, but I wish there was some way where we could have like an additional like miniature figurine. Like, am I crazy? Shouldn't there be like a frog figurine somewhere? I feel like that's like a big glaring missing thing. I don't know the story, but I'm looking at the cover of The Princess and the Frog and I see a frog on the cover. So why don't we have a miniature frog? Super weird, right? But yeah, one final note about this outfit. It looks like the tiara is actually made out of metal. Nope, I just looked it up. The tiara is plastic, which is understandable because we already have so many details in this and we didn't get a frog. So it makes sense that it's plastic, but in the stock photos, it looks really good. So there's that at least. So yeah, I'll excuse some of the things that I feel like might be, in my like uneducated opinion, missing from this because the outfit before this was so incredible. But yeah, all in all, I'm really glad that we got all of these extra outfits to go with these dolls. I think this was such a really excellent release today. All right, so that's the new Disney collection from American Girl. I want to know what you think because I feel like all of y'all are going to have a ton of opinions on all of this, and admittedly there's probably some things that I missed just because there's only so much I can comment on not having seen these movies in decades. So I understand that my knowledge is limited there. My knowledge really is in toy history and American Girl and toy design and quality and all of that stuff. So I'm not exactly like a movie buff when it comes to Disney. And truthfully, I'm just not really a princess person, and I never have been. Like, I always loved the Disney movies as a kid, but I wasn't really like into the princesses specifically. And if I'm perfectly honest, like I'm not really big on like the monarchy to begin with. So, this is all supposed to be fun. I get all of that, but there is like a little bit of something about like the idea of a princess that kind of rubs me the wrong way. I mean, obviously I'm a huge feminist, right? So like, I feel like the term princess, especially when it comes to like the olden timey Disney stuff, I get that we have like a lot of nostalgic feelings about these things, but at the same time, like the idea of like a damsel in distress waiting on a man to save her, like that's not how I like to view women, because I know women and that's not how they are. So like the whole idea of like the weak female like waiting for a man to save her gives me the ick. I'm sorry, it just does. Now, I know that Disney and other, companies like Pixar and all of them, we're not really holding on to that narrative anymore. I think that there are a lot more examples for young girls and women to look at where the characters in these movies are empowered, right? It's not so much like, poor little me, I need a man to save me. So, I don't want to get super political about all of this stuff, but it's just kind of to illustrate the point that the idea of like, a little princess is not really like my jam as far as like telling stories about women. But at the same time, I also recognize that, we do have a lot of nostalgic feelings towards these things. These movies are icons and, it's hard to get away from that stuff. But, I would be lying if I didn't at least say that it's a little bit conflicted for me with some of these stories. But again, it's been so long since I've watched them. I'm probably like looking at them through the lens of being an adult and, all of my experiences since being an 8-year-old, that stuff kind of colors how you look at these things. And, it's difficult, right? You want to be a good person. You want to push for the right things. But there's also that thing where you're just like, this was a really great story that made me happy when I was a kid. So, I don't want to like completely dunk on all of this stuff, obviously, because I think that children get a lot out of these stories, but it all comes with complication, right? Like we had issues for decades and decades not having a Black Disney princess. That's a big part of what I remember about The Princess and the Frog coming out. I never ended up seeing the movie because I was in my 20s when it came out and Disney just was not anything I cared about. But I remember there was a big controversy amongst a bunch of racist people about having a Black Disney princess, which was absolutely insane. So, I think some of us look back on all this stuff and we can see a lot of the problematic details that were in all of these things. And that's not to shame anybody for being like, well, I really loved The Little Mermaid when I was little. I'm not here to make you feel bad for liking these things. I want you to buy these things if they speak to you and they will make you happy. But I think, at least for me in particular, I think especially because I, realized I was not your average kid fairly early on in my life. By the time, I was hitting like, I don't know, 12 years old or so, I was like, wait a minute, I'm a little bit different than everybody. And I think, for many different reasons, I tend to gravitate towards things that aren't as mainstream. But in addition, it was really difficult to grow up and see all of these stories where you're like, this doesn't really speak to me on a core level, right? Like all of these stories are super heteronormative, and this isn't to say that like we need like 1,000 like gay Disney princesses, but it's been really difficult for Disney to inject more diversity into their stories just because of all of the backlash you get from awful people that don't know how to stay in their lane. So again, Disney is sort of like a complicated relationship for me, at least, because I know that overall they want to try and do the right thing and be inclusive, be as inclusive as they possibly can be. But at the same time, like it wasn't always that way. So, I don't know if I'm going on too much of a tangent on this, but this is my channel and this is the lens that I see everything through. And I love talking about dolls and I love getting excited about them, but it's also important to talk about some of the heavier things from time to time that sort of have implications on a child's development as well. So all in all, again, I'm really happy that we're seeing diversity in the collection that we got today. I mean, we are missing a medium skin doll, but again, I do really think that these companies are trying as best as they can, while also, it's capitalism. What are you going to do? I mean, if something doesn't sell, they're not going to make it, but I do at least feel grateful that we got a decent amount of diversity today. It wasn't perfect, but like if all 3 of these were Caucasian princesses, I was going to be really upset and probably go on a long rant about it. But I think American Girl is trying as best as they can to have diversity in their collection, and I think that that's evident today. Like I said, it's not perfect. It would have been great if we could have seen a medium skin doll. I don't know, I feel like I don't know enough about Disney to be complaining about this, but again, it's just my initial feelings to look at this collection. So yeah, all in all, again, I think they did a really great job. I do think this is a very commercial look for American Girl, and this is just the direction we're going to continue to see things going in. I've always talked about how, Pleasant Company started as one vision and it's sort of changed over the years, and that's just to be expected with any doll line. I know that there are going to be a lot of original vintage Pleasant Company collectors that don't like stuff like this, and I get it. I mean, it's like you want to hold on to that thing that made a brand special in to begin with, and the thing that you really fell in love with. But times change and the market changes and what kids want changes. So it's impossible to have a company last for decades like this without making changes along the way. I mean, even Pleasant Rowland started adding the American Girl of Today line into the Pleasant Company range in 1995, which was not even 10 years after the launch of the company. So this kind of stuff is to be expected. And, you know, again, does this look very, very corporate? Yeah, but I mean, what do you expect? American Girl has to compete with all of the other doll lines out there. If they can't sell stuff, then the company goes under. So I totally understand, like, we have to reconcile the fact that we want like really high quality keepsake dolls that tell stories about the past as adult collectors, but we also have to understand that this really is first and foremost a brand for young kids. So I expect to see more of this stuff. I can't imagine that this collection is not going to sell extremely well. And I would not be surprised if in 6 months we have a whole new range of Disney Princess dolls coming out. So yeah, I would expect that at this point. What I'm really hoping is that because this has all been doing so well, like I feel like we are probably going to see more Barbie collaborations in the future. I mean, I really hope so, because that's what I want from my collection. I am more of a Barbie person than I am a Disney person. So I feel like, you know, if we can start seeing similar releases in terms of the Barbie world, I would be really excited. And I think we can almost expect that at this point, because the Barbie collector doll sold out faster than the Disney collector dolls. So I think that's a really good sign that we'll see some more Barbie collaborations in the future. I really, really hope so. I'm hoping that by the time that we all start getting our Barbie American Girl dolls in the mail, that we're going to start seeing some more outfits and things that we can, you know, add to the Barbie part of our American Girl collection. So I really, really hope we see that too. And I think based on today, there's a good chance we'll see that. All right, I have been rambling on enough for today, but before I go, I just wanted to remind you that I have a newly relaunched shop at idreamofjohnny.com where you can buy tons of merch that really helps support this channel so that I can keep making doll videos full time. In addition, you can support this channel by visiting patreon.com/idreamofjohnny, where I have a podcast every single week where I talk about American Girl news, drama, gossip, and I open all my mail that I got each week. It's only $3 a month, and it goes a really, really long way to support this channel. So again, be sure to check it out at patreon.com/idreamofjohnny. If you want even more doll content, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at idreamofjohnny. If you want to keep hanging out with me, I have so many more videos on YouTube that you can watch, like this one right here. And until next time, please take care of yourself, and I will see you real soon. Bye! I wanted to send an extra special thank you to all of the best friend tier patrons on my Patreon that go the extra mile to help make this channel possible. Thank you so much. Your support means the world to me. See you next time.